Welcome to Beers, Balls, and where the beers are cold, the Sox are loud, and the takes come with just enough hope to keep showing up.
Through, Loperfido has a steal. Throw gets away. Here comes Walker.
What the
Back to Gray. McLean shoots home. Tag.
What the
Carlos Correa.
What?
Again on the infield for the Red Sox.
What the
Another snap throw over. Got him.
What the?
2 count on Roman Anthony. And he just made.
What the All right, here we are once again. Every single season, we get our hopes up. We get extremely excited in the off season. We tell all of our friends, all of our family, and anybody on the street willing to listen that this is gonna be our year. The media was getting us hyped up. All the headlines, and myself included, were saying that the Boston Red Sox pitching staff is one of the best in baseball, and that's why they're going to be a great team this year. And 1 week into the season, what do we get? A team ERA of nearly 5. And I wish I could tell you that this is because of 2 or 3 guys on the roster. But no, it's the majority of pitchers on this team that are having an absolutely embarrassing start to the season. And then there's Craig Breslow. He told us, the identity of this 2026 Boston Red Sox team is going to be pitching and defense. Pitching and defense. Well, we just talked about the pitching and near 5 ERA. And defense? What defense? Really? I mean, this was a problem we knew since last year. And we come into this season, and what do we get? 6 games, 6 errors. We haven't fixed a thing. And we are looking like a baseball team. Not even a baseball team, a couple of kids in a neighborhood running around playing a pickup baseball game with absolutely no confidence. Every time the ground ball's being hit to the left side, you have to hold your breath because you don't know what's gonna come next. Just pathetic. And do not get me started on the bats. This lineup has been anemic. I know, you know, we all know, the strength of the Red Sox was never going to be the lineup this season. And that's fine. We don't expect to go out and score 10 runs. We get it. But to be this bad, to strike out that many times, to score just 17 runs over the first 2 series, that's pathetic. I don't know if these guys have holes in their bats or if maybe they forgot how to hold one in the offseason. Whatever's going on, it is pathetic. But all right, let's also be fair for a moment. There are some bright spots. And one of those is Wilyer Abreu. Last week, we were talking about how this guy was bound to break out, that he was going to have a great season this year, that he was hot in the World Baseball Classic. And now we're seeing it. Every single game, in big moments, he's getting hits, and some bigger than others. Unfortunately, we don't capitalize on all of those big hits, but that's not the point. He's been great. Everybody else? Not really. I mean, but if you do want to talk about somebody else, there is a surprise there that probably our second best hitter in the first week was Connor Wong. And he's not even our starting catcher, and for most of us, he's not our favorite catcher either. But anyone who thought that Connor Wong was going to be one of the best hitters on the Red Sox in the first week of the season needs to go out and buy a lottery ticket because you're psychic. We need to talk about something. Because last week, I told you guys that I had it figured out. The superstition to help us win the World Series this year. And it's not for a lack of trying, because believe me, I tried, but I don't really want to tell you what I had to do. I don't think you want to know. What I realized is that superstitions need to come to you naturally. And with time, eventually, it'll come to me, or maybe any single one of you. And if it does, please let us all know. But until then, we're going to continue to get our hearts broken, and we're going to continue to follow the Sox every single day, believing things will get better. We will keep the hope alive somehow.
Some moments make history. Others make you cover your eyes. This is Clutch or Cringe.
Now, let's get into our first Clutch or Cringe of 2026, and you know exactly how this works. It's very simple. We take the best and the worst of the week and we call it exactly like it is. This week, honestly, it was a little bit painful to have to think about the clutch moment of the week, just because there really weren't many, which really gives us an idea of how this first week of the season went. But there was one, and that one is Wilyer Abreu's game-tying homer in the second game of the season against the Reds. Top of the ninth, 2 outs, and he bangs a homer to deep right field. That ball is still flying out there somewhere, and it was awesome. Unfortunately, we lost. But this is about the clutch moment, not the result. So that goes credit to Wilyer Abreu. And you know what? It really isn't just that moment for him, because this season, he has been showing up. Like I said before, big moments, always getting big hits. He already has 3 homers this season. He's carrying over what we said he would from the WBC. Alex Cora said that he could reach 30 home runs this season, right? We talked about that last week. And now, if we take this pace, he's up to hit 80. Okay, obviously I'm exaggerating. We really know how it goes with him too, right? He's always been a streaky player. He'll hit them in bunches and then he'll just disappear for like a week and a half. But for now, he is the man. And you know what? In a week where Garrett Crochet starts twice, you'd have thought we'd be putting him on the list and having him be the clutch player of the week. But that wasn't the case. Because yeah, in game 1 he was great. He threw 6 shutout innings, got 8 strikeouts, and he took care of the Reds. But then in game 2, in Houston, that was a different story. And if that sounds familiar to you, it's because it should. Last year in the same stadium, he got wrecked. And it really wasn't looking so bad this time. But in the 5th inning, with 2 strikes and 2 outs, he left a sweeper over the plate. Correa was waiting for it and just mashed it to deep left field. And that was heartbreaking. All right, time to get in to the cringe moment of the week. And I really wish that I could give this to every single player on the Red Sox because they've all had their moment. But we're going to maintain ourselves faithful to the idea behind Clutch or Cringe. So please, give it up for Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray was ready to make the best possible first impression on Red Sox fans in Game 2 of the season. And he did not take too long to make that impression, because in the first inning of the game, he made one of the most questionable decisions you're ever gonna see. A ground ball comes to him softly while there's a man on third who's gonna start running home. And instead of just throwing the ball to his catcher, you know, kind of the point of baseball where you throw the balls to each other, and that's why we have gloves, right? But he decides he's not gonna throw it to the catcher. He's going to run down the base runner himself. He's 36 years old. He is not as fit as he thinks he is. So of course, he doesn't make it. He runs behind him, pegs him in the back, ball goes to the ground, the runner scores, absolute chaos. Like Hogdale said, this looked like banana ball, but gone wrong. And, you know, this was a real mental breakdown, and I get it. Humans make mistakes. It's normal. It's just that usually the humans making mistakes aren't making millions of dollars to play a game. You know what the worst part is? There were so many cringe-worthy plays this week, it made it pretty hard to choose from. Now, Sonny Gray deserves his title this week, but there were other plays like Trevor Story against the Houston Astros. where there was a routine ground ball hit to short, and the ball just rolls under his glove. A complete lack of judgment and concentration by Story. The ball wasn't even hit hard. Even the runner at second was confused, and he thought there was going to definitely be an out at first. And then he realized, hey, hold on a second, the ball's in the outfield. I can go to third. Just sad. And then there was this other play. Boy, with the man at first and third, the runner from first tries to steal second, and Narvaez throws the ball a little bit inaccurately to Marcelo Meyer, who then mishandles it. The ball rolls to his left. He scrambles behind it. Then he realizes the runner at third is trying to score. He tries to get the ball back to Narvaez, and for whatever reason, Brian Bayou says, I'm going to be an NFL cornerback right now, and I'm going to intercept this pass. So he dives at it. The ball bounces off his glove, rolls into foul territory. The runner scores. Just a complete disaster. It looked like a circus. This kind of looked like when you get those clowns who parody sports. There you go. The Boston Red Sox, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. I need a cold one after that. The beer of the week hails from Chico, California, and it is considered one of the OG craft beers. So we're trying out some Legacy today. First time I'm ever trying this beer myself, so let's dig in. All right. Promising. Wow. Wow, that's awesome. I love pale ales. It's a pale ale. As soon as it gets in your mouth, you feel it's malty. I love it. It's got a little bit of a citrusy taste to it, and it's definitely refreshing. This is the kind of beer you want on a hot day. It's a beer I'm definitely gonna get again. I really like it. As always, we don't do stars here. We do baseball rankings, so this gets a triple. This gets a triple. This is one of the better beers I've had in a long time. It reminds you of the excitement that you feel when Jarren Duran's racing around the bases just because of how nice and refreshing it feels. So, cheers to that.
Predictions, overreactions, and just enough confidence to sound wrong later. This is the PreA Game Show.
Okay, so before we get started, I think I need to clear the air on something because a lot of people have been asking. Why is it called the PreA Game Show? Well, it's quite simple, really. My last name is PreA. Get it? Pre-game, PreA. I know, it's a terrible pun, but also, it's kind of perfect. Now, let's turn this page. Enough of all the pain and all the misery and everything negative to do with how we started 1-5 and everything bad around it. Let's look ahead. Let's feel some optimism. Let's get started with the home opener at Fenway. I mean, it's a week late, but it's finally here, and the crowd is going to be electric. The environment is going to be hostile for the Padres. The Red Sox are desperate for a win. The fans are desperate for a win. They want it now. And who's got the honors of starting this home opener? Sonny Gray. I do not know how I feel about that, but I will say he's going to be better than his last time out. Because if he's any worse, he might get kicked off the team. Just kidding, but seriously, I have an unreasonable amount of faith in him. I don't really know why. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's a veteran guy. He's done this a lot. He's shown that he's a major league pitcher. In his last game, a lot of things went wrong for him. There were errors made behind him. There were some questionable decisions that we recently talked about. But he was also missing some bats. He has some good stuff. When he's on, he can be really good. Now, with the crowd behind him, the energy there, he's going to turn that into his reset moment. He's going to turn this around. He's going to show Fenway who they've got this season. And he will have to do this against Michael King, and that is not an easy task. And then on Saturday, we've got Connolly early, and I am excited to see this guy pitch again. I'm a big fan, personally. I would love to see him build on that first start because he was really, really good against the Reds. He's been really good in all 5 of his starts, and the other day I saw that he was number 2 for strikeouts as a Red Sox rookie making their first 5 starts, just behind Daisuke. And we all love Daisuke, right? So it's great to be mentioned in the same sentence as him, and hopefully he keeps building on it. This guy misses bats. He's got great stuff, great location. He's an excellent pitcher. He's not the guy that's going to come in there and overpower you with 99-mile-an-hour fastballs, but he's getting those strikeouts, and we all know that plays in this league. Woo! And the finale against the Padres, that is going to be, I don't know, that game's going to be weird, I think. Ranger Suarez, as we saw in his first game, he's clearly not ramped up yet to the guy we want him to be. Is this going to be a better game? Yes. Is he going to be good? I don't think so. But the upside is that he's facing Walker Buehler. And that is a familiar face to us, and I think we can all agree that it would be a great time for Buehler to have one of his typical starts, if you know what I mean, where he walks everybody, loses complete command of his pitches, and allows just those 1 or 2 big hits to blow a game wide open. I don't know, something like allowing 6 runs in 4 innings and we end up winning. Not because Ranger Suarez is great, just that Walker Buehler was bad enough to give us that chance. The series prediction against the Padres is simple. Connolly early is definitely going to win. I think Sonny Gray should win behind the Fenway crowd hyped for the first Fenway game of the season. And I genuinely believe Ranger Suarez is going to outpitch Walker Buehler. So the way I see it is we've got a series win in the bag, and we should be able to sweep. That will be perfect to get the momentum just before the Brewers come to town, which is going to be a slightly tougher task. So, about the Brewers, they're an excellent baseball team. They always give us headaches. For whatever reason, I don't have any fond memories of playing the Brewers. So, I feel like this one's gonna be one of those real frustrating series, but there's some upsides. If things line up, we got Bello, Crochet, and Sonny Gray pitching. Now, let's hope that in the series against the Padres, our bullpen is well managed and nobody's overly exhausted, because I think we might be using the bullpen quite a little bit in this series. So with game 1, Bello on the mound, I have measured expectations. And what do I mean with that? I think he could be good, because if we looked at the game, if we look at the results of the game against Houston, sure, it was not good at all. But on the field, he just seemed to be better than the stats say. He was inducing a lot of ground balls. That's the kind of pitcher that I hope Brayan Bello turns into and continues to be, because I've made peace with the fact that he's not going to be that 10 strikeout per game guy that at one point in time we were hoping for or expected, or whatever word you want to add there. We've got to come to peace that his success is going to be in ground balls. The problem is when it starts to get elevated. And against a team like Milwaukee that loves to make contact, we don't want to allow that. Ooh, baby. Game 2, I am not going to be found anywhere but home on Tuesday night, because that game is going to be extraordinary. Crochet against Mizurowski, and I hope I pronounced that right, because the guy has like 45 letters in his name, and it kind of confuses me when I read it, but that's not the point. I hope that Mizurowski doesn't bring us any misery. Get it? I'm sorry, I had to. The puns are just... the beer's talking. Enough of the jokes. That game, I'm calling it now, it's going to be a pitcher's duel with 20 strikeouts combined. I think both pitchers are going to push each other to their max. I think it's going to be a game where you're going to have to scrape across a run to win. It's going to be low scoring. You're going to want to manufacture a run with a little small ball, or maybe get a solo homer on a mistake. That's kind of how you're going to get the advantage, because this game is going to be a battle of titans. And before ending the episode, I think we need to talk a little bit more about the bats, just because we've been so focused on the pitching. This team is not going to turn around this terrible start to the season if the bats don't wake up. Now, where do I think we need to start? Consistency. We're going to have the same lineup multiple days in a row. We can't keep switching that up. You can't keep putting players in different positions defensively and expect them to be comfortable and get in a rhythm. I get it. We have some players on the bench that we want to give extra time on the field, but it's just not how it works. To start the season, you want to get your regulars out there. You want to have them get into a certain rhythm, feel comfortable, be consistent, and ride the hot hand. Sure, but to get a hot hand, you need to consistently play. This affects hitting, this affects defense, and there are some specific bats that we really need to get more from, because we've got Wilson Contreras hitting in the 4-hole, and this guy is not producing what you expect from a cleanup hitter, so that's a problem. But we know, or at least the stats say, because the other day I read that 20% of his contact is pull side fly balls. This guy is built for Fenway. With the monster over there, I'm expecting to see doubles, I'm expecting to see homers, and that's something that's going to help this team turn around. We also need to completely stop striking out so much. It's so frustrating to see. We have multiple games of 10 plus strikeouts. That is not a recipe to win. There's no team that goes out there, strikes out 13 times, and expects to win that baseball game. We need to get that to stop soon. And in conclusion, the Red Sox have an opportunity to turn things around. As long as the bats wake up, the pitching starts to solve itself, and the defense tightens up. Now, I really believe that we're going to win 4 out of 6 games at least out of these 2 series. And I know that right now that sounds a little too optimistic to some people, and that might sound even unrealistic to others. But you know what? That's what we're here for. We are confident enough to sound wrong later. That's it for today's episode. If you're a frustrated Red Sox fan or laughed at any of these terrible jokes, please remember to like and subscribe so you never miss another episode. Appreciate you for sticking around for all 9 innings. Keep the Sox loud, the hope alive, and we'll catch you next week. Same time, same bull.